From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big early mornings here on Mornings LALATE with incredible details about your forced stimulus check update of 2021 today. We'll be going over the breaking news as the president signs a major legislation Friday that anchors forced stimulus to the finish line. We'll be going over that monthly stimulus check that the Senate Democrats, the House Democrats, the president, and the print media all want you to have. And we'll be going over all the incredible details you need to know this Sunday morning. Then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus that has a lot of shocking, breaking, developing details. 1, a fifth stimulus check. 2, $1 billion being allocated to the program. 3, a new consumer price index number that suggests inflation's going to the roof. And then in the middle of this video, we go to thousands of dollars you can get right now. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, and we have incredibly beautiful news. From the West Coast to the East Coast, from the toast to the butter, to the coffee machine, to the waffle machine. I'm here, you're here. Just the griddle is missing the bacon still. This is Early Mornings LALATE. Good. I am in my Sunday red, hoping for a down crypto day and some golf wins on Sunday. Of course, I'm in my tiger red. So hope you are good this Sunday early mornings. In this recording, we're going to go over a lot. But first, how's the weather where you are? Tell me where you're watching from and how's the weather. You can tell that it has heated up here in Los Angeles very quickly, unfortunately. The light is less now, thank goodness. It was very sunny on Saturday, but it's quite better now. But tell me where you are and how the weather is. In this recording, we'll be going over that forced stimulus check. So many breaking details. President signs a major deal for forced stimulus on Friday. We'll be going over what's happening on Monday as the bill is now in a recon heading to the finish line. We'll be going over what the House and the Senate want you to do and what the president wants to do. We'll be going over everything you need to know and what you have to be pushing for as well. Then we'll be also be covering fifth stimulus that has all these breaking news stories and the surprise about a fifth stimulus check and raising your benefits up a lifetime and why the benchmark is going to go through the roof. Wow, it's just great stuff this morning. And then we'll be cutting to that big money to you to get. This is LALATE, your 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel. And thank you for joining me. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoon. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record for a reason in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. The most comprehensive, the fastest growing channel there is. Hit that subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss a single video. Also, like this video. 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. Let's get to the details right now. By looking at the House bill and the Senate proposal. The House bill provides a monthly stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate proposal, on the other hand, provides a stimulus check for July to December. Let's compare the monthly payouts and understand what is really at issue here. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate proposal, July to December. Both monthly stimulus checks, just one has more checks. And if you're watching this show when it airs, when it debuts at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, jump into the live chat and vote House or Senate and tell me where you're tuning in from. But not just yet. Let's look at the monthly payouts. House bill, $1,000 a month after the first month, $2,000. Senate bill, monthly amount unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Wow, yes. 6 months, $2,000 a month, $12,000 a person. Oh my goodness. Or $1,400 a month, 6 months, $8,400 a person. Wow. But the Senate plan versus the House plan may get an interesting twist. The pandemic. Many insiders believe that the House vote may reduce the bill to just 1 year because the pandemic may be considered over. That would reduce the House bill to 1 year of stimulus checks, 12 months, which under the House bill from Jalapal is $13,000. Compare that to this over 6 months. Yes, I think you have an opinion now. Jump into the live chat. House or Senate, where you're tuning in from and how the weather is. Let's go over all the details you need to know this early morning Sunday about that forced stimulus check. The Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check if you got a third stimulus check. So if you make less than 75,000 individual, they want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, they want to double it for you. Household 4 or less, you would get a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, the fourth stimulus check is coming to you from the Democrats. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, and survivor benefits. The fourth stimulus check is not taxable. It's not income. The fourth stimulus check is not waivable. Don't wave at it. It's not going to wave back at you. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone the Democrats propose. Adult dependents, minor dependents, everyone would have the same fourth stimulus check. And the fourth stimulus check would go to a final vote for reconciliation July 4th. The Democrats represent. That means that you would get the fourth stimulus check in the month of July, for the month of July, in the month of August, for the month of August. And there you go. That is the first of 3 parts of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 in this video. But in the second part, we're going to go over the big deal the president anchored on Friday. It is wonderful because it anchors fourth stimulus over the finish line by removing provisions that are no longer needed because they're now in international law. Wow. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video, and it's fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus got some insanely wonderful news on Friday. A $1 billion dedication to the program. I'll explain why that's huge. Second, a suggestion that the inflationary benchmark that's going to be applied in December may be its highest level of nearly several generations, and that you're going to carry that number lifetime with you. Oh boy. And finally, the incredible surprise about a fifth stimulus check. Oh, yes. But first, let's get some money. If you're new to this channel, that's what I do here. We don't track checks, we cash checks. So I don't really tolerate questions like, what day in July am I getting the stimulus check? Or what day is it coming in my hand? No, that's donut guy talk. We're cashing checks here, not trashing checks or tracking checks. Under the third stimulus package, there was a lot of money for you to get, and that money is now available for you to receive. We all got a third stimulus check, but as soon as it passed, I said, hey, there's $5, $10, $50, $20,000 available for you under third stimulus, and now you can get it. Let's go over all those details, but first grab a pen and paper or a Crayola crayon if it's red, because we're going to go over all the incredible money that's available for you, and it's starting right now. It's rent, it's utilities, it's mortgage assistance, it's homeowners utilities. And the rent is a fortune. It's about $5,000 of rent, 4 to 6 months of rent. Where is it coming from? It's coming from the federal government to you, $350 billion. Not $350 billion just for you. What do you think this is, Powerball? No, you got to share it. Well, at least, a little bit, please. This is coming to the cities and counties and states for rent and mortgage. So you're going to reach out to different places. I'm going to show you in a second. Each has their own eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. They have all their own pots of money. All right, you're ready? Here we go. These are places you're going to reach out to. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say is rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID. Or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't understand like stimulus checks or upside down butter cake. They'll say, I understand that. I understand butter cake, but I don't understand upside down butter cake. And there you go. $5,000 for rent. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this money. But boy, if you've gotten a penny from this channel or more than a penny, drop in the comments. Drop in the live chat because it inspires other people. On Friday, one viewer revealed they got $9,000 of rent. That's not unusual because we've had a lot of people get $10,000, $15,000 of rent. Well, the next pot of money is wonderful. And on Monday, LALATE, on mornings LALATE on Monday, one viewer revealed she got $6,000 to $7,000 for it. What is it? It's SNAP. SNAP is wonderful. It is money for your food, for your rent, utilities. No, it is money just for your food. And you get it from Department of Agriculture. Reach out to Department of Agriculture to get it. How much money you can get? It's a fortune. Family of 4 in Hawaii can now get upwards of $16,000 a year for SNAP. It's wonderful. Why so much? Because of 2 executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raised your benefits up 15%. So go get it. Lynn Glenn got it for herself. She got it for her son. She got it for her mom. Gail got it. It's wonderful. So there you go. $15,000 for SNAP for family of 4 in Hawaii. or $5,000 for rent. We are killing it, and we are just 10 minutes into this video. But I got more money for you on Early Mornings LA starting right now. And it's $5,000 that's available from your states. The federal government has identified states as overpaying you unemployment assistance and then asking you to return the money back due to computer error. Not your computer. Your computer works fine. It's their darn computer. Well, the federal government has stepped in and said, it was your money to keep, and it was them to fix their own computers. So now the federal government has ordered the states to return the money back to you and for them to go fix their own computers. And so guess what? You're getting the money back. One viewer got $5,000 for it. Let's go over how you're going to get it and when you're going to get it. First, you're going to get it to the bank account you have on file with your state unemployment department. Next, you're going to get it automatically. But reach out to your own state for respective routing times. All right, we got another pot of money, and Michael on Facebook revealed he got that money. God got it. Margaret got it. A lot of people are getting this money, and what is it? It is money coming back from the federal government on the taxes of your unemployment assistance. Yes, I am really excited for you. So let's go over how much it is, when you're going to get it, how you can track it, and all the details. First, how much is it? Let's say you had $9,000 of total taxes, or $9,000 of total unemployment, of which you paid $5,000 of taxes in your total return, $4,000 of which was the unemployment section. Well, guess what? You're getting back $4,000 of unemployment taxes back from IRS. Next, when? In June. How? Direct deposit, that's on that 2020 tax return, or in the mail in the month of June. Can you track it? Yes, about 70% of the time you can track it. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, go in there, put your social security number in there and track it, and you will see the details. You file the tax return, you pay the taxes, and there's that refund coming. Oh my goodness, this is wonderful. What's better than that? The second update of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. The second of 3 parts in this extended Early Mornings broadcast. Well, there's a lot of stuff happening next week of fourth stimulus. Let's go over where we are. Number 1, they're currently marking up the bill. Oh boy, this is exciting. Number 2, the Democratic senators want you to have a stimulus check. The Democratic House members want you to have a stimulus check. The president wants you to have it as well. It's front page news in the broadcast media. The GOP and the conservative media are not covering it because they're not giving the stimulus check. The Democrats are all aligned, including Joe Manchin, to get this passed to the finish line. And the final vote would be by July 4th. So let's go over the big surprise, though, that happened on Friday, when the president signed into law a major deal that anchors fourth stimulus over the finish line by removing provisions from fourth stimulus about corporate taxes that are no longer needed. Oh boy, this is exciting. And a fifth stimulus check? Oh yeah. Let's go over how we got there. The Friday before Memorial Day weekend, Leader Schumer confirmed not 1, but 3 details I've been telling this report on this channel. Number 1, the reconciliation process ends July 4th. Number 2, it will end with passage. And number 3, that the reconciliation process has already begun. But how did we get to there? Jalapa, who wrote that House bill, had written Schumer a letter saying, call the vote. But it was 12 House Democrats who co-signed the letter and said, you know what? We want to call the vote as well. And those 12 House Democrats are among the House Democrats who wrote the president a letter, among the 100 House Democrats who wrote the president a letter a week earlier saying, we want and will put monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Oh my goodness. Can it get better than that? It does. When 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter about a week ago saying, we're going to put monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Well, who are they to say that? They're on the subcommittee in the House that is solely and exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks. Wow. They wrote the first stimulus check? They did. They wrote the second stimulus check? They did. They wrote the third stimulus check? They did. And now they're writing the fourth stimulus check. And the fifth stimulus check. What? Really? Yes, that's coming up in the second half of this video. The people who are behind the first to third stimulus check are writing the fourth stimulus check. And the bill is currently getting marked up. Oh my goodness. What's better than that? Friday, On Friday, the president signed a major deal that anchors forced stimulus over the finish line and removes provisions of the forced stimulus for corporate taxes that are no longer necessary. Wow. Let me explain this one by going back a little bit in time. It was on a recent Tuesday I told you something wonderful happened, but it was very confusing and I always had to slow it down. It's where we're slowing it down right now. That Tuesday started with the president saying that, forced stimulus is paid for by me raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. But I'm worried about raising the U.S. corporate tax rate because if I do as president, then businesses may leave the U.S. soils and may move operations overseas to where a corporate tax rate is cheaper. So he had thought of the idea of reaching out to those other countries and telling them, move your corporate tax rate up higher so my U.S. businesses won't move to your country. And they tentatively agreed. Wonderful news. That's a global minimum corporate tax rate. Well, the president did something else. Later that Tuesday, the president reached out to insiders and they tentatively said the following, that after forced stimulus is signed into law, then maybe August or September, October, the president would get those G7 countries to sign on the dotted line and agree to that U.S. corporate tax, that global corporate tax rate of 15%. And if they did, he would remove the higher U.S. corporate tax rate. Oh my goodness. Remove it and stimulus checks? Can we get better than that? We can. And that is when the president signed it into law. On Friday, not last Friday, but the Friday before that, the president announced in a small press clipping that no one covered except really me, it wasn't front page news, that he's going to meet with the G7 countries on Saturday. I said, what is he doing talking to them on Saturday? I said, stay with me on Saturday morning, on Mornings LALATE. I will go live on air and tell you what happens. And then it happened. The president announced a week ago yesterday that he had gotten the G7 countries' leaders to agree upon the global minimum corporate tax rate of 15% higher, which then anchors forced stimulus over the finish line, and that he would be signing into law. And he did on Friday, this last Friday, overseas. He has now anchored forced stimulus to the finish line by removing provisions from forced stimulus about corporate taxes that are no longer needed because now they are in the global agreement with those G7 countries. Wow, now that's wonderful. Instead of waiting to August, September, October to do this, he did it now to make forced stimulus even easier to pass. That is incredible. Can we get better than that? We can. The volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage, or internet, reach out to the volunteers. If you can't find it, they're salt of the earth. They embody the true Purple Power spirit. People helping people. They step forward to help you find that money if you can't find it. So reach out to them. How do you find them? They're on the community page. Where do you find the community page? Open the description of this video. Go down to where it says community page. It's next to an emoji of a house. Click it. It sends you to news.la.com/community. On the community page, you'll see a picture of some kitty cats. They're not the volunteers. Lower there are the volunteers. To separate from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, reach out to them. Coming up in 60 seconds is a little bit about the community page. But after that, I have more exciting details about forced stimulus, about what's happening next week, really exciting news, and the real shocker about fifth stimulus, not just the fifth stimulus checks, but also the raising your benefits. That's coming up in just 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. and then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Early Mornings LALATE. The toast is toast and the butter is butter and the coffee's brewing. I'm here, you're here, and the bacon's missing. I mean, what else is new? The bacon is always missing. But I'm in my Sunday red because we're hoping for crypto to go down. And we're hoping for both big golf wins today as well. Thank you for joining me. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. You got to subscribe to this channel. The most comprehensive, the most in-depth, and the most up-to-date information you can see with this extended early mornings broadcast. LA, you're going to see a lot more coming up in the second half of this video. 4 stimulus and 5th stimulus, more details coming up in the second half. Also, like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Member link is in the top of the chat and the pinned comment. More about that in a second. Let's go right to 5th stimulus with the 1, 2, 3 breaking news stories about this. Wow. Okay, first, the stimulus check. I know you're asking about that. 5th stimulus check in the fall. How does this work? What's going on? Let me explain to you what I think what they're thinking is. They are thinking, in my mind, to do 5th stimulus in 2022. Remember, 5th stimulus heats up in September, but would not be finished until about an October, November vote date, approximately. Well, that's only 90 days away from January. Remember, we also have those holiday mail days, so they may not be able to get you a check in December 25th or December 28th. So they may be thinking of the check landing in January. So that 4th stimulus would be a 2021 series of checks, and that 2022 would be the 5th stimulus. Next, we also had a real shocker, which was this week, the President of the United States dedicated $1 billion in his budget to the Social Security Administration Fund so that they ramp up personnel, computers, processes, administration to ensure you get things easier, quicker, and faster. That is stimulus checks. That is benefits. If you were with me in the spring of this year, how many videos did I make about Direct Express by Comerica Card not paying stimulus checks on time? It was just exhausting. It really was. Well, that needs to go away, and that's what he's doing. He understands that 4 stimulus checks would go to you. He understands that 5th stimulus would raise your benefits. He understands that those Democrats want you to have 5th stimulus checks as well. And so they only make sense when you get them on time. And we understand all the debacles that happen with 3rd stimulus with beneficiaries. He wants to solve that. Wonderful, wonderful news. Which brings us to the third element of news, and this one's a little more complicated, so I'll slow this down. On Thursday, the Consumer Price Index number was released, the CPI. What is it for, and when is it for? It's for the month of May 2021. What is it for? Prices, how much things cost to buy. Well, obviously, the number was high. We all know that. It gauges how much it costs to buy food and groceries and gasoline and cars. But what did the number reveal? The number revealed that compared to the year before, May of 2020, the May 2021's year-to-date growth was the highest growth of 30 years in one 12-month span. Boy, so what did Wall Street say about that? They say that they think the inflation rate in December will reach a spike around December or before December that is transitory. What does that mean? Temporary. They're thinking that the inflation rate, which is going up month after month and getting higher throughout this year, will reach its highest spot later this year, temporarily or transitory, and then come back down and be normal to where it belongs. Well, that's huge as we turn now to 5th stimulus. 5th stimulus involves a benchmark of inflation being added. It involves removing the asset limit and raising your benefits, then removing the income exclusion and removing the marriage penalty. Let's now calculate why this is absolutely astronomical for your benefits if the inflation rate does this. This is how it works. First, they're going to raise your benefits up. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, they'll raise your benefits up one time. Then in December, they apply the benchmark every year for next year. The first benchmark will be applied in December of inflation. Let's say inflation is expected to be 4 or 5%. But suddenly, this is going on, and we're reaching a peak in December. Let's say we reach a peak in December of something really through the roof, like 10%, the highest inflation rate of several generations. And that by next year, it's 2% or 1% or something really low. Well, they're applying that benchmark in December. Let's say we hit that peak right when they're applying the benchmark, and that's 10%, let's say. This is what would happen. Your benefits would step up 10%, not just next year, lifetime. So while the peak is going up and then going back down, your benefits step up, but never step down. You have to really hope you're lucky that the peak on this inflation spike is exactly when they apply that benchmark in the fall, because your benefits always step up or stay the same. They never step down. And that is lifetime. Wow, that is wonderful news. Then they're going to remove the asset cap. It's dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and have more than $3,000 in hand. Well, I need stimulus checks in my hand, so let's get those $3,000 out of there. Time for that law to go away. Then they're going to remove the income cap that says you can't work and stay on benefits. That's going to go away. And then finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Marriage penalty is horrible. Penalizes you for being married or prevents you from getting married. Finally, love is going to win and you will be able to marry your longtime love interest. There you go. That is fifth stimulus. But there's a lot of other stuff in fifth stimulus in addition to the stimulus checks. And in a given day, there's not enough time in a video to go over everything that's in fifth stimulus, fourth stimulus, and third stimulus. That's why it's important to consider becoming a member. The member link's at the top of the chat, pinned comment as well. Members are delivered from me daily a breakdown of everything that's in fifth, fourth, and third stimulus. Because it's your money. You need to know how to get that money, $5, $10, $15, $20,000 under third stimulus. It's generally application-based, so unless you apply for it, it's not automatically coming. So consider becoming a member so you have the details delivered to you daily from the YouTube community page of this channel, written specifically by me. All right, now let's go back to fourth stimulus in this extended early mornings broadcast. 1, 2, 3 things I have to go over. 1, I'll be going over the whole timeline and what to anticipate for next week. Number 2, false narratives. And number 3, pushing. All right, first, the timeline. Next week, we start with the reconciliation process continuing. We also continue with the reconciliation, seeing the end zone around July 4th. We also see that there's 9 steps to call this from point A to point Z to call in the vote. The first half are procedural votes, the second half are substantive votes. In this timeline, listen specifically to steps 7 and 8 and also to number 5. Step 1, the House subcommittee calls the procedural vote. Step 2, the House floor calls the procedural vote. Number 3, the Senate calls the procedural vote. Step 4, the President signs the procedural bill into law. At that point, the tow truck is passed over the finish line. Step 5, the House subcommittee writes and finishes the substantive bill and calls it for a vote. Well, they're currently marking up the language of that bill. They can put the monthly stimulus checks in there if they want to, and that's where it would land. Step 6, the House floor votes on the substantive bill. Step 7 and 8 is the 2-day vote-a-rama at which the senators amend whatever is given to them, if they wish, from the House. So let's say the House had no stimulus checks in there. The senators can amend it and add them in there. Or let's say there are stimulus checks in there. The senators may still amend them or leave it alone. And step 9, the bill is become law, signed by the president. There you go. Those are the 9 steps from point A to point Z. Which brings me to fake narrative. There's going to be a lot of fake narratives next week. And these are the fake narratives that you really need to be attentive of. There's going to be fake narratives from conservative media that says no one's talking about it. No, conservative media is not talking about it, and GOP is not talking about it because they're not sending out stimulus checks. Broadcast media is talking about it. In fact, they can't stop talking about that. 7 Democrats of that House subcommittee writing that president letter. They talk about it nonstop. They ask the press secretary about that letter all nonstop. Second, it's important to understand that there's going to be some Democrats that have a false narrative for you as well. The problem creators from 2020 were back on Friday talking about how they were trying to do things. They never do anything but create problems. They're trying to get publicity for themselves once again. And the protagonista of the telenovela, which ended on Friday, will certainly be back on Monday saying she's doing something when she never did anything but cause problems on Friday. Joe Manchin has nothing to do with any of these groups. But what did she do? On Friday, what she did was she reached out to Republicans who are quitting Congress. These aren't elder statesmen that are returning back or the important top echelon of the Republican Party. No, these are people who are out the door. She reached out to them to talk about forced stimulus. And what did she do? She issued a press release saying she had an agreement when she didn't have an agreement from anyone, let alone authority to have an agreement from Democrats or Republicans. And for the first time during the forced stimulus, both parties agreed about something. She had nothing to do with any of them. Her name, Kristen Sinema, Democrat out of Arizona. Democrats slammed her, saying you had no authority to negotiate on behalf of the Democrats. Number two, you had no authority to associate on behalf of the president. And number three, you had no authority to negotiate on behalf of these Republicans because they don't represent the Republican leadership. To make it even more obvious, this is what she did. The President of the United States had flown overseas to sign into that law, that global corporate tax rate of 15%, that provision he's signing internationally. Understand, he's using U.S. corporate tax rate to pay for forced stimulus. U.S. corporate tax rate, pretty easy. What is she trying to do? Instead of using U.S. corporate taxes to pay for forced stimulus, she wants to tax your gasoline. What? Yes. Not what the president has any intention of ever doing. So I expect her to be back with her narrative on Monday. I expect Mitt Romney to be back with his narrative on Monday. If you've been with this channel since 2020, how many Mitt Romney bills have I covered? A Mitt Romney hazard pay bill, a Mitt Romney unemployment bill, a Mitt Romney senior SSI bill. There was a Mitt Romney SSI bill. There's been a Mitt Romney bill for almost everything. How many times does the person write a bill? He just loves to write. How many times a call for a vote? Never. How many times the Republicans call for a vote when they were in leadership? Never. So he continually likes a lot of publicity, this guy. Obviously, he's running for president in a few years. So he likes a lot of publicity. Why she wants the publicity as a Democrat? She wants, it's political grandstanding. So I want you to be prepared that you're going to hear from Mitt, the telenovela star, or the canceled telenovela star, the prom creators. You're going to hear from both sides saying they're doing something. It's nothing of anything. And there you go. We understand that the reconciliation process has begun. The reconciliation process is just a few weeks from being over, that everyone wants to put those stimulus checks in there, and that everyone is aligned to pass it. But that brings me back to my final message, which is purple power. Purple power started last year when we understood that leaders were not doing certain things for you. And at that time, there was how would you say it? There was an aura that political leaders were not helping us. And so I started on this channel, everything from Seats for Stimulus, CR for Stimulus, MSC, FPUC Retro, all these pushes, and we got things done. It's a different era. Now people see things being talked about that excites them and makes them very positive. And because of that, a lot of people have become complacent. Whether you call it complacent or apathetic, a lot of other viewers are very upset with the complacency of some other viewers, that they just presume everything is going to be perfect. And you can't. Here's what you need to know about both Republicans and Democrats. They can have a law, and it doesn't send out the money. They can have a bill, and it never is called to a vote for a law. You can have a proposal, and it's never called to a bill. And then you can have an idea, it's never put into proposal. Here are examples of what I've seen in the last week. I have one person who asked me repeatedly, when are we going to hear what the senators want to give us as a stimulus check? That should not be the mindset. The mindset should not be, when do I hear what am I getting in my hand? Rather, you should be telling the senators in your tweets, in your hashtags, in your Facebook posts, tagging them, you need to do this. You don't need to sit back and say, what day am I going to hear how much Bernie is going to give me? No, that's donut language. That's donut guy language. about as complacent as it can be. Another type of language I'm hearing from a lot of people is, I hope, I wish, I pray to God, I'm crossing my fingers. No, uncross those fingers. Get those fingers and start typing. Hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. Tag your elected officials on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Go on social media and start tagging them. The opportunity to push is now. I didn't ask you to push in April. I didn't ask you to push in March. Now's the opportunity to push because we're 30 days away. This is where they're marking up the language. Next, I see some people very excited about bills. Don't be excited about a bill and don't be depressed about a bill. Why? I see a bill. I'm so excited about the bill. I can give you 30 bills from Mitt Romney you'll be excited about. How many became law? I can give you 30 bills from 2020. How many became law? A lot didn't. So don't be excited about a bill. Be excited that you're pushing them to vote yes for the bill. That's a whole other equation. Just because there is a bill doesn't mean it's going to be called to a vote. Just because it's called for a vote doesn't mean it's going to be passed. You need to ensure that everyone votes to pass something. They're legislators. And what's important to understand is that just because something's in a bill does not mean it passes. It can be hacked to death. It can be modified. You need to push. Finally, there's always that person who says, well, July 4th, does that mean the check would land on July 6th? Oh my goodness, please don't say that. You should not be counting the days of the month and looking at the calendar, what day in the week of the month of July. We don't do that. We don't track what day the check is going out because they haven't even gotten the bill to a finality. As I say, the vase is still in the glass blower's oven. It's time for you to push right now. Hashtag Purple Power, hashtag MSC. Viewers have been very vocal to me saying you need to really be a little bit strong on the tough love. So I'm giving you the tough love. Now is the time to push Purple Power. If you don't push, it will be too late to push if you start talking about this in late June, early July. Because by then, the legislation may be written, and the only final push will be the two-day vote-a-rama. So push now. And with that, thank you for joining me on Big Mornings, Early Mornings LALATE. Stay with this video, and it'll take you automatically to Overnight's Crypto, now airing our 12-hour hit show. And then join me on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino, VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on pushing. Never take anything for granted. Always push, always stay positive, and always stay informed, and stay with LALATE for more.